Boys.
Hello.
Which one of the Sidemen do you think would make the dumbest criminal?
It's got to be Ethan. It's got to be my colleague Ethan.
Who's getting caught in the act?
100% Ethan.
Oh, poor Bez. He can't catch a break.
I don't know. I'd put JJ up there as well, to be honest. I think JJ wouldn't even realise he's committing a crime.
Nah, PR trained now. As soon as he's caught, wouldn't do anything dumb.
He's not really PR trained, is he? We just have to edit
trained,
everything he says out of the videos.
True.
Hey, don't throw him under the bus like that.
I need my
What are
lawyer.
you doing?
If you're wondering why Cares I ain't got much screen time in the new Sidemen video, he's there, he's saying stuff, he can't go in the vid.
Alright, today we're looking at the dumbest criminals in the history of mankind.
Let's get it.
In 2009, Matthew McNally and Joey Miller robbed a home in
tell me
Iowa
this is
using
their
masks drawn onto their faces.
No, shut
marker.
up.
Whilst on the run, the two discovered that permanent black marker doesn't rub off easily, leading to their simple arrest and embarrassingly stupid mugshots.
So...
I was gonna say, the fact that it's permanent isn't the issue here.
They black-faced?
However, these two still look like geniuses in comparison to some of the other idiots we'll be talking about as we discuss the stupidest criminals of all time. Take for example MacArthur Wheeler, who robbed 2 banks in broad daylight as he thought that pouring lemon juice on his face would make him invisible to cameras. When shown the bank's surveillance footage, Wheeler refused to believe that he was visible, stating to officers, "But I bought the juice," believing that as long as he didn't come near a heat source, he should have been completely invisible. Police concluded that Wheeler was not crazy or on drugs, just incredibly mistaken.
Do you know what it's like?
Couldn't
It's
even
like,
use the crazy card.
Invisible ink, you put lemon on it, but he's done it backwards with himself, you know?
Is that what it is?
No, someone has set him up here. Someone has told him, you know, if you put lemon juice on you, you turn invisible.
Ain't no way.
The lemon juice mistake eventually costing Wheeler a
24
24.5-year prison
He robbed
sentence.
2 banks.
However, if we're on the topic of terrible disguises, then we can't go past Dennis
Goku
Hawkins, whose disguise as an old lady wasn't much better. His sweater accompanied fake boobs, a full beard, and fittingly clown pants, with his insanely recognizable outfit helping police to catch Hawkins only an hour after the robbery. The police chief for the area
still sitting
stated,
in the whip.
"It would get my nomination for dumbest criminal, I think. You still have his black facial hair with a blondish wig. Definitely different." Different is also a good way to describe Patrick McGuire's disguise, who robbed an Illinois convenience store while covering his face with a clear plastic bag.
come
He was
on,
only able to
man.
gain $60 from the robbery. However, due to his extensive criminal history, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for the stunt, meaning that he had to spend 1 year in prison for every $4 stolen from the store. Talk about a bad return.
Oh, no.
That's peak.
I need 1 second, my dog is eating my shoe. 1 sec.
Just let him eat, man. Let the dog eat, bro.
I'm bringing the culprit on camera. This is Vic's house's dumbest criminal right here. He got caught eating his shoe, and now he's eating my hand instead because he's angry. Oh. Thank you, Ralph.
Hi, Ralph.
Ralph,
Are you ready,
cameo.
Vic?
Yes, I'm ready.
Equally bad was Paul Sinclair's, who attempted to rob a bank in Florida by using his fingers curled up into a gun shape. The quote-unquote weapon was so non-threatening that the bank teller gave him only $120, after which he'd flee on foot.
Wait, what you still gave him $120?
Bro, that's a dangerous man. If he thinks the gun fingers are enough to rob a bank, you never know what he's
Oh
going to do.
my gosh. Maybe he pitied him.
Caught by police only 10 minutes later.
Maybe he was actually being, like, nice to him, and he was giving him an amount that he knew wouldn't get him a certain crime. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe he felt sorry for him.
James Blankenship, who thought that robbery was legal as long as you did it at a certain time of day.
Shut
Back
up.
in 2013,
It's like The Purge.
Blankenship broke into his own mother's home, after which the police were called, who would take to their Facebook page later that day to explain what had happened. He fled the scene upon seeing
That's
his mother.
tough
The
when
male
they're
was
roasting
located
you
under the house, hiding in a crawl space. When
Facebook.
advised of his charges, he made the statement, "I thought you could only be charged with burglary if you break in during the
Who's
night."
informing these people? Where are they getting this information?
America.
that's the American education system.
When Ruben Pavin was caught stealing from a charity thrift shop in New Hampshire, he'd state that he thought everything was free because of the name of the business, Finders
That's
Keepers.
fair.
The sign did say Finders Keepers.
I'll
so I
let
took
him
that
run on
to
that
the
one.
You know what?
Yeah, that one's
they should
fair.
let him
local
off.
TV station.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks later, the stuff is still there on the porch. So I'm thinking to myself, finders keepers. They probably just put stuff out there for people.
Oh, it's a charity.
The business responded via Facebook stating, "This man who was caught on video is saying it is all a misunderstanding. He thought everything at our store was free.
I
Is
think
that
it's a
really
pretty
the
good
best defense he
defense.
could come up
I
with?"
think he should sue them for misleading name.
Yeah.
After which Pavan reportedly turned in the stolen goods to police, holding that he's not a bad person or a bad dad, and is rather just unbelievably stupid. But was he as dumb as Derek Mosley, who in 2013 attempted to rob a store named Discount Gun Sales by using a baseball bat?
What?
Mosley allegedly barged
No.
into Discount Gun
No,
Sales
that had
and
to be a
smashed the
joke.
display counter with his baseball bat. The store manager simply pulled out his own personal firearm and pointed it straight at the would-be robber, holding Mosley in the store until he was arrested and charged with first-degree robbery.
Damn.
A similar story then came out of Texas in July 2022 when a gun store was robbed at knife point, although this tale instead ended in a body bag as the robber was fatally shot by the store owner as he tried to exit with his loot. But what happens when you accidentally call 911 whilst committing a crime? Pocket dialing the police is probably a fairly common occurrence. However, for Carson Reinhardt and Nathan Teklemariam, it happened at the most unfortunate moment, specifically while they were breaking into a car. The alert dispatcher soon realized that the call was an accidental one, and moreover that the guys on the other end might be up to no good. For the next 35 minutes, the dispatcher stayed on the line, listening and gathering information, as Teklemariam and Reinhardt did the following. Discovered a car that they thought they could burglarize, discussed how to break into the car, allegedly broke into the car, exclaimed in delight over finding narcotics in the car, became confused as to how and why a police car was following them, and reacted in disbelief when the arresting officer revealed that they'd been on the line to 911.
Imagine fully incriminating yourself.
That's almost like they've pranked the police. Like, they've set it up, but they haven't.
What the fuck?
Scott Simon found himself in a similar situation, although under much more severe circumstances. Whilst on trial for murder in 2015, Scott was successfully sentenced to life in prison, as 2 years prior he'd pocket dialed the police while admitting to a friend that he was the one who committed the crime. He had no idea he called 911. A sheriff's office spokeswoman told
You're gonna murder someone, at
he
least
basically told
take
on
care of your
himself,
phone.
as did Albert Bailey, although in a much stupider way. Bailey had planned on robbing a bank in Fairfield, Connecticut, although rather than exercising the element of surprise, he'd call the bank prior to the robbery stating, "I want $100,000 in large bills and no die packs. I'll be sending someone into the bank to get the money. Don't call the police, we are monitoring the police scanner." Prior to making this phone call, Bailey had already served 7 years in prison for a previous bank robbery. However, this new plan was equally ineffective, as after arriving at the bank to collect his cash, Bailey was locked inside, arrested, and sentenced to another 9 years in prison.
I can't believe how dumb these people are.
Tito and Amanda Watts, who got arrested in
be
Florida for selling tickets to enter heaven at a price of $100.
I hope they didn't kill anyone.
Tito Watts said in his police statement, "I don't care
Would you
what
buy
the
one,
police
Toby?
say."
What?
Toby don't need one. Toby already
Nah,
lifetime member.
I wish. Lord, please take me. Not now.
The tickets are solid gold, and it was Jesus
Toby,
who
when you
gave
buy
them
me
to behind
31
the
presents for
KFC.
turning 31,
You want the ticket to heaven?
I want a ticket to
That'll be
heaven.
a great
I'll
present.
I'll ask. I'll let you know.
and said to sell them so I could get me some money to go to outer space. You should arrest Jesus because he's the one who gave me the golden tickets and said to sell them. I'm willing to wear a wire and set Jesus up. The couple had apparently
Are they gonna snitch on Jesus?
Stunt, meaning that they were able to find people even dumber than them.
That's what
one
I
of
call a
which
Judas,
might have
bro.
been Ruben Zarate. While attempting to rob a muffler shop in 2008, Zarate was told that the shop couldn't access the money safe without their manager, who didn't begin his shift until later that afternoon. Instead of bailing on the robbery, Zarate instead gave them his phone number, asking them to give him a ring the next time the manager was in.
Gosh.
They did so later that afternoon, although after returning to the store, Zarate received no money and was instead met by police and charged with aggravated robbery. Then there was the man who gave the people he was robbing something even stupider. The unnamed robber walked into a London bank carrying a gun and a bag, which he take to the front desk before demanding £700,000 in cash.
Oh, this is in London. I was gonna say they're literally all in America. This one's in the UK.
We got one too. We got idiots too.
Let's go.
I reckon he was American.
But after making his demands, the crook handed over his gun to the cashier instead of the bag.
Simon, you were right. He handed over his gun.
Gun to the cashier instead of the bag. Investigating authorities stated, the guess is that he is very inexperienced and panicked when he approached the cashier, handing over his gun instead of a bag by mistake. But it was Trevor Jones who left an even more damning piece of evidence at his crime scene. After breaking into a house in Atlanta, Jones took a moment to check his Facebook on the
Why?
Why?
without logging out. Less than 3 years later, a similar story entered news headlines, reading a 26-year-old Minnesota man has been tracked down by police after leaving his Facebook profile logged in at a house he allegedly robbed, although this story has a much funnier ending. The homeowner decided to message the robber via his Facebook, stating, "You left a few things at my house last night. How can I get them back to you?" Which was followed by the robber agreeing to come back to the home so he could collect the stuff he forgot. However, the robber didn't get any of his items back and was instead arrested while still wearing a watch that he'd stolen from the night before.
Is Facebook that addictive to people that they have to log in?
Well, it's like Twitter for us.
Nah, but I can't believe Facebook can have
I
that
think
same
these
effect.
guys are a little bit, less IQ than the average person, so.
Like, you're in the middle of committing a crime. Let me just check my
Bro,
Facebook.
he went back because someone messaged him saying you left some things at my
returned to
house.
the crime scene.
He's not the smartest.
Yeah, you're right. He's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
While both of these idiots used social media poorly, at least they didn't brag about the robbery in a YouTube video.
That's what
as
JJ
is what
would
happened
do.
in the
Yeah.
bizarre case of Hannah
I mean, you
Sabata.
say this, right?
In 2012,
But rappers sometimes rap about like killing someone or
Yeah, but they claim it's
committing
fiction
crimes.
and for storytelling purposes only.
Or maybe this YouTube video was fiction.
We'll find out.
Sabata stole $6,000 from a
Sabaka.
bank in Nebraska, and while almost anybody else would have simply kept quiet, Hannah instead took to her YouTube channel
2.2 mil
to upload a
views.
video titled
Hey,
Cheap
guys,
Baseline,
Jeez.
which she'd straight
This
up
might be how
admit
we
to having just
revive the
committed a
channels.
robbery. She'd then discuss her entire
17K likes
methodology
on
for
it.
the crime while showing the money and the amount that had been stolen, before concluding the video by describing the vehicle she had used and that it had its license plates
believe this.
removed. This information eventually resulted in Hannah Sabata's
can believe
arrest
this.
and sentencing of 10 to 20 years in prison, done so in a public courtroom filled to maximum capacity
Why,
with
Toby?
people who had seen
Bro,
the video.
Look at her hair. It's a mess. She don't look after herself.
She
Maybe she just woke up.
probably doubled up her money though. She got 2 mil views. The ad rev doubled up.
Ain't
True, but
no way.
10 years ago.
Anyone dumb
Long
enough
time
to
ago.
do this is too dumb to monetize their videos, bro.
Also true.
Just 2 years prior to this, 21-year-old Frank Singleton was being
That dude
released
is
from
not
Palm
21.
Beach County Jail, having just served time for a trespassing charge. The only issue was he didn't have a car to leave the jail, so he decided to steal one from the visitors' parking lot, yet the car he decided to steal was a manual, and he could only drive auto. Singleton sat in the car looking like an idiot before being arrested and sentenced to a further 6 years in prison, telling deputies that he tried to take the car because he didn't feel like walking to his home about 6 miles away.
That's fair.
While you
That's
may
a
be
long
sad
walk.
Just been
thinking that
released.
These criminals can't get any
That's fair, though.
dumber. It's time to introduce 53-year-old Michael Anthony Fuller.
This one's gonna
While it's
hit.
common knowledge that the US banknote doesn't go
Music's
any
changed.
higher than
Serious.
$100, Fuller had the genius idea to create a counterfeit $1 million note
Smart.
before
Smart.
trying to use it at his local Walmart.
How are they going to give him change? Can you break this up for me, please? Buys a packet of sweets. Can you break this up?
And various other items totaling $472
That it?
before handing the $1 million note to the cashier, expecting
Yeah.
$999
Oh, he was actually
expecting
the change.
$528 in change.
It's almost the
Needless
perfect
to
No, that's
say,
the plan.
Walmart
That is
wasn't
the plan.
able to facilitate this, and instead
Nah,
store
bro,
staff
just
called
go in
police.
there like you're super rich and go, keep the change.
No, but he
And
wants them
walk
to
out.
give him the money, so he actually has real money as change.
He could have done $1,000 bill and he might have got away with it.
5 million.
Yeah, listen, greed kills, man.
Fuller was later charged with attempting to obtain property by false pretense and uttering a forged instrument.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, there's
Wow.
some idiots. There's some big idiots.
I'm impressed. I'm
Yeah.
actually impressed.
Yeah, you're not impressively stupid, like almost a skill. Props to them.
Yeah, so if you're going to commit a crime, don't brag about it. Like, do what Toby's done and just commit the crime and just go stay silent.
Oh, poor Toby. Thrown under the bus.
What crime,
do you mean?
Simon? What crime?
No, I don't think you want to
Oh,
ask.
you don't want me to say on
Yeah.
here, bro. You don't
You
want
don't
I'm
wanna
ready
ask
to
him
wear
that.
a wire.
you don't want to say on here, bro.
I'm ready to wear the wire.